What if I told you that you could get all your protein in just one meal, but not only that, it's gonna put you in a caloric deficit so you'll lose weight, but it gets even better. You'll also be able to build lean muscle tissue and you're gonna become the best version of you, I guarantee it. Now to prove this, I'm gonna show you a variety of foods right here on my counter. I'm gonna show you what the proteins in it, what the calories are, and you'll be amazed at how you can get all your protein in, lose weight, and build muscle at the same time. Now, before we dive right into this, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tim Ernst. I'm an intermittent keto fasting coach who has personally lost 70 pounds in 7 months doing the combination of the keto diet, strength training, and intermittent fasting. Now, I've also coached hundreds of high-performing men over the age of 40 to lose at least 40 pounds in 16 weeks using my Keto Shed 40 coaching program. If you want more info on that, I have a link in the description. When you click that, it'll take you to another video. And when you click on that link, a video will pop up where I explain a little bit more in detail as to how I could potentially help you. Now, let's get into the video. What are these foods? Well, the name of the game when you want to build muscle and you want to lose weight, the number one macronutrient you need to focus on is protein. Now, you may be wondering, wait a minute, Tim, I thought you were like a keto coach. Isn't keto like high fat, moderate protein? Absolutely it is. However, in my keto coaching program, when I start to notice my clients start to plateau a little bit, there's one little trick that I do to get them to surrender that fat off their body. It's to strip out the fat and eat nothing but lean protein. So I don't want to waste any of your time. So I want to show you some of the foods that I eat that are pretty affordable and they're nothing but pure protein. Some of them may have just a little bit of fat, but most of them are pure protein. And you're gonna get to your protein goals, and I'm talking 1 gram per pound of body weight. So let's say you're around 190 pounds like me, I need 190 grams of protein. How in the world can you get that in one meal? Well, I'm gonna show you. So the very first thing, now actually, you know what? Before we start, I just wanna say one more thing before I show you the foods. These are gonna be boring foods, but I'm gonna tell you at the end of the day, it's the boring stuff that's gonna move the needle towards your weight loss, your health, or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. I'm sorry to say it. I know there's a lot of these Instagram reels and YouTube videos of all these fancy recipes, keto this, carnivore that, carnivore bread, keto pudding. I've even put them up on my channel, all right? But the number one thing that's gonna work the most, it's gonna be the boring stuff, all right? But let's face it, all right? Wouldn't you rather do the boring stuff than suffer with pre-diabetes? Would you rather do the boring stuff than walking around 300-400 pounds, too afraid to take off your shirt during summertime, which is coming in a couple months? Would you rather do the boring stuff or suffer with heart disease, sleep apnea, high blood pressure? You know what I'm saying? All right, look, I think most of you would agree that doing the boring stuff is gonna be much more beneficial towards your health, and you're gonna be amazed at how fast this actually works. All right, so let's just get right into it. Hey, quick pause here. If you're a busy guy in your 40s and 50s and you feel like your body's just getting away from you, this is for you. Look, work, kids, stress, you look up one day and you've put on 20, 30, maybe even 40 pounds or more. You're getting some workouts in, trying to stay active, but the scale's not moving like it used to. And let's just be 100% honest. You've seen it in the gym. Same guys, month after month, year after year, they show up, they're putting in the actual work, but their body never really changes. And I've seen this over and over again over the years in my gym. And it's not because they're not working hard. They're in there working hard. I've seen them do it. It's because what they're doing outside of the gym isn't dialed in. I figured that out the hard way. I just turned 50 this year and I've got 3 kids, including a newborn. And I had to get real about what actually moves the needle. That's exactly why I created my 5-day fat loss reset. This is a simple, structured, done for you 5-day plan that will literally help you drop 7 to 10 pounds fast. It's gonna reduce bloating and you're gonna get your nutrition locked in so your effort finally pays off. Why waste your time in the gym if you're just gonna mess it up outside of the gym? No more guesswork. No overcomplicating things, no spinning your wheels. I've used this with clients and the results speak for themselves. This isn't just some long drawn out program. It's a reset, a way to get your momentum back and finally start seeing real progress. And if you want to take it any further, well, that's where my 16-week Keto Shed 40 coaching program comes in. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to click the link in the description of this video. Grab the 5-day reset and get started. And if you're really serious about taking this all the way, there will be an option in that book to do a one-on-one call with me. Now on this call, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover a couple things. We're gonna talk about where you're currently at right now with your body, where you would really wanna be, and then we'll figure out a game plan to get you unstuck so you can lose the amount of weight that you wanna lose. You're already putting in the work. Now it's time to make it count. Now let's get back to the video. So the very first thing, this is boring, I know, pure egg whites. Now this particular one, I go to Kirkland, you can get a whole box of this. You get about 6 of these, okay? Check out the protein in this. If you were to eat this whole thing, which I have, you pour it in a pan. I got my pan, actually I had it today, this morning already. You pour this whole thing in there. This is about 10 servings. This is 250 calories. That's it. But 50 grams of protein. Unbelievable amount of protein while being in a caloric deficit. All right, so that's one thing that I eat. Another one is probably going to surprise you is this. I've got these Green Wise, we have Green Wise here in Florida, it's Publix. These little baby scallops, check this out. Okay, these scallops, okay, just for 2/3 of a cup. So let me just give you an example. So this is 1/3, so 2 of these. This is very, very small. 2 of these, all right, 2/3 of a cup is only 80 calories and 19 grams of protein. I could have like 6 of these, all right? So if I did 6 of these, this would put me at almost 60 grams of protein. So check this out, 60 grams, and you have your egg whites. What is that, 110 grams of protein already? All right, so that's one food. Now you could also get like white fish, like tilapia, things like that, tuna, very, very high in protein. I don't have that right now, but you can get those. You can get tuna, white fish, very high in protein, but very low in calories. Now another one I get, they do make one that's a little leaner than this, is I get this ground turkey. Now they do make one that's like 97% lean. This one's 93%. But I chose this one because you want to have just a little bit of fat in your diet. And the reason for that is for hormone production, all right? Guys, especially if you don't want your hormones to tank in the toilet, you need to have proper levels of testosterone. Now, I know a lot of people are doing TRT and all these different things. I've literally had people come up to me in the gym thinking I'm on TRT. I'm 50 years old and I have never done TRT. And I am in shape. I have the energy. There's nothing wrong with my libido. In fact, how I know this, if you're not aware, I just had a newborn and I'm 50 years old. So there is nothing going on in the libido department. I feel great. I have energy. I have no injuries. I'm continue to look my best later in life. I'm in better shape today than I was when I was 25. But anyway, you want to add a little bit of fat in your diet, whether that's through like, fish oil, or maybe you want to have just a little bit of fat in your turkey, or maybe you want to add a little bit of oil, things like that. This, okay, 93% lean. This has only 160 calories, all right? 4 ounces, that's it. So 4 ounces is pretty small, but you get 22 grams of protein, all right? So if you notice, this is all lean protein, with the exception of this having just a little bit of fat. Your egg whites, there's no fat. I forgot to mention, scallops, 0 fat, all right? The other thing you can have, actually I have it in my refrigerator, I put it on the grill. Can't go wrong with boneless, skinless chicken breast. And look, you can go ahead, you can season it and all that kind of stuff. It's not gonna hurt it. You don't have to be too strict like the bodybuilders do, where you're boiling chicken and having no seasoning. That is boring. And another thing is, ground turkey don't taste that good either. That's pretty boring. However, if you really want to make this good, let me just show you something, all right? Let's say you want to make some meat that tastes like taco meat. Now, you're not going to have tacos, obviously, but maybe you like the flavor of taco meat, all right? This is all the spices that you're going to need. I have them all right here. So you're going to have, let me just get all this out. Real simple, okay? You're going to have, when you're doing like any type of tacos, all right, you're going to get some paprika, all right, chili powder, cumin, and then you can throw in like some garlic salt. It's that simple. And you could take something that tastes really bland and make it taste really good. In fact, I've actually had this lean ground turkey meat with like egg whites. Make sure to put all the seasonings. You can add salt. Salt's very important electrolyte. Don't be afraid of the salt. This can taste absolutely amazing, okay? There's nothing to it. Now, another thing you can have, but you gotta be careful with this, all right, is get like a very low-fat yogurt. Like there's some Greek yogurt. I think I bought some the other day that's brand new. I think Chobani makes it, where it's very low in fat, very high in protein. In fact, let me just go get it in my refrigerator. All right, Chobani. Okay, this one right here, I'm gonna tell you what the protein is in this. This has 20 grams of protein for just 3/4 of a cup. So here's a cup, just 3/4 of that. The fat in this, 3 grams. That's literally it. So if you need just that little bit of fat, this is gonna do it. 0 sugar in this. Now you may think, well, that's gonna taste like sour cream. It's pretty sour. So here's a little trick that I do. I've done a lot of videos on this as well. I actually make dessert out of this. So what you could do is you could take this, basically hardly any fat in it, it's only 3 grams, 20 grams of protein, 0 sugar, so obviously it's gonna taste bad. I get this 0 sugar Jell-O cheesecake pudding mix, okay? 0 sugar. You know how much fat is in this? 0. Now obviously there isn't protein in this, you're getting the protein from the yogurt, but if you don't want to just eat plain yogurt, which it doesn't really taste good, I have to admit, it tastes like sour cream, you could do this. They even got this in pistachio flavor. So if you're into that whole Dubai thing, you want some pistachio flavor, again, it's 0 fat, low calorie, and it's a great treat to have, all right? So at the end of the day, yes, most of these foods are pretty bland and boring, but if you need some type of, sugar, or like you got like a sweet tooth and you just want to satisfy some type of craving, I'm telling you, get this, okay? Low fat, low calorie. Let's see, what is the calories in this? 140 calories for 3/4 of a cup, that's it? 140 calories? This one was only 250 calories? 80 calories per serving for you're gonna be in a caloric deficit. In fact, I've had these types of foods and literally was under 1,000 calories. And I got to 180 grams of protein. So just think about this. You're gonna be able to lose weight. You're gonna feel satisfied because when you eat 180 grams of protein, protein is very satiating. Now, when you have a fat in your diet, like the keto diet, fat is satiating as well. But here's the problem with fat, all right? I usually have people start off high fat on a keto diet because I'm just trying to get people to kick their cravings. At the end of the day, that's the only reason why I increase the fats, and it's also to get people fat adapted, all right? That's the only reason why I put people on a very high fat diet, is to kick those cravings. But once you kick the cravings, pull back on the fat. Because what happens to a lot of people when they do the keto diet, they stall, they plateau. And here's the reason why. They have this illusion thinking I can eat as much as fat as I want, I can eat as much ribeye steaks and bacon and butter and all this fat and just continue to lose weight. That couldn't be further from the truth. If you're not aware, for every gram of fat is 9 calories, all right? Those calories are gonna add up quick. In fact, you might even go into a caloric surplus. But if you're just eating lean proteins type sources, 4 calories per 1 gram. So you can literally have foods like this be under 1,000 calories, which is gonna get you absolutely lean and shredded while building muscle, because we know that protein are the building blocks to building muscle, provided, I gotta add this in there, don't just eat 180 grams, let's say you're 180 pounds like me, don't just eat 180 grams of protein and not work out. You gotta get some form of resistance training, all right? That is number one. Some people will say that protein is more important than resistance training. No, it's not. You can eat a bunch of protein and actually gain weight, all right? But if you're in a caloric deficit, yes, you'll lose weight, but you're gonna look skinny, you're gonna look weak, and you're gonna look frail. I have had people lose a lot of weight and don't do any resistance training. They don't look good. They actually look like marathon runners. They look pretty weak, pretty frail. I wanna get you to look like a sprinter, all right? They're jacked, all right? They're jacked. They do short workouts, short bouts of workouts, resistance training. they look jacked but lean at the same time. You don't want to look weak and frail. And that's what will happen. Yeah, you'll lose a lot of weight. Your clothes are going to be loose, but you're not going to look jacked. You're not going to have muscle. So make sure to get resistance training. That is number one. Because what you're doing in the gym, every time you go in there and you're working out, you're tearing down that muscle. And the only way to rebuild is through recovery. And how do we do that? Lean protein sources. And you're also going to lose weight at the same time. I mean, you're getting the best of both worlds, all right? So I hope that clears it up. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an example of the foods that I eat. So make sure, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and always hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.